All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I just saw this post on Reddit. It's top 3 wishes for the remainder of 2026. So I thought it'd be fun. Let's do our top 3 wishes for the rest of the year. We're in the second half of the year now. Some fights have been lined up, so we're going to talk about those. But I have put together my top 3 list. We're going to run through it. I've got some honorable mentions as well. We're going to mention before we go to the number 1 spot. But let's start at number 3. Now, my number 3 pick is for Jaya Pataya and David Benavidez to have an undisputed title clash before the end of the year. Now, a few stars do have to align for this. Some people will say it's impossible. For me, it is more than possible. There's one hurdle, and that's the Zuffa boxing hurdle and probably the IBF. Now, if I run through this, Jaya Pataya, he's got the ring belt. David Benavidez has 2 of those belts, all right, and he'll soon have 3 of the belts, all right, WBA, WBO, WBC, when he goes and faces Noel McCallion, because I think he lights him up. And if he doesn't face Noel McCallion and Noel McCallion vacates, well, David Benavidez is going to end up with it anyway. That leaves only one belt, the IBF belt, sitting in absolute limbo land. And the IBF have to make a decision, all right? They made a decision to strip Jaya Pataya, which I thought is the wrong decision. And it's going to evaluate to be the wrong, eventuate to be the wrong decision, because all of a sudden, the top 2 contenders in the IBF, Chris Smith and Jaya Pataya, are both Zuffa boxers. So you either can have sort of a paper champion, you can have a guy that you give the belt to, but everybody knows he really shouldn't be the champ. No offense to people like Vidal Riley. I think they are, I think Vidal Riley is an exceptional fighter, but he is not ready for that world title. He doesn't deserve that world title yet. I think that world title will come in time. But right now, Jaya Pataya should have it. And if any people are fighting for it, it is Jai and Chris Smith. So I think the IBF will have to make a decision. And the decision should be, all right, we can make an undisputed title fight here. Turki Al-Sheikh wants to make it. Jaya Pataya wants it. David Benavidez says he wants it. So let's see who actually really wants it. Make that fight. Let's see David Benavidez versus Jaya Pataya for undisputed. We all know who I'll be backing, so that's not my wish. All right, my wish would be Jaya Pataya to spark out David Benavidez, but I just want to see the fight. I want to see these 2 guys go. They're 2 of the biggest names in boxing right now. They're 2 of the best boxers in the world right now. And I want to see these guys go head to head, because then we'll finally see who the better one. Because all the Jai Patai fans will tell you he's going to spark out David Benavidez, and all of the David Benavidez fans are saying Jai Patai is a nobody. So let's see this fight. Let's see who the true king of cruiserweight is. Number 2 for me is Anthony Joshua running through Tyson Fury and beginning his charge towards undisputed glory. We've heard this a few times. Alexander Usyk saying, all right, we're going to take Anthony Joshua to undisputed glory. And it all starts here. And for me, I don't put my wish as Anthony Joshua to face Tyson Fury. I think that fight's locked down. I think we're going to see that fight regardless. But my wish is to see Anthony Joshua destroy Tyson Fury. I think it would throw a massive spanner in the works. I think, when you talk about British boxing, there's always been a conversation of who is the best Brit of this generation. Is it Anthony Joshua or is it Tyson Fury? I think if Anthony Joshua went in there and knocked him out, number one, you get rid of all and any dispute, any controversy, as we saw Tyson Fury have after the 2 Usyk fights, disputing it, saying that the scorecards were wrong. You get lit up and you get stopped by Anthony Joshua. Who gives a fuck what the scorecards are doing? You got absolutely destroyed. And like I said, it'll begin the charge for Anthony Joshua to go on this undisputed run, which I think is a wish in itself. I would love to see Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk, Rocky style, running towards an undisputed title fight. And it all starts here. And I think I actually do quite like the idea of Anthony Joshua winning. Anthony Joshua has always been my preferred between AJ and Fury. I have nothing against Fury. I think he's such a crucial part of boxing in the past 10 years and making big fights, being entertaining, bringing eyes to the sport. So I will never have hate towards Tyson Fury, but yeah, I'll be rooting for Anthony Joshua to beat Tyson Fury, and I think to slump him in that fight would be unbelievable. The scenes, all right, if Tyson Fury gets laid out on the canvas. My number 1 pick, my number 1 wish of 2026 is in a rematch for Fabio Wardley to stop Daniel Dubois in their second fight, which is supposed to happen later this year. I think if we saw Fabio Wardley go in there and run through Daniel Dubois, land a massive big right hand and slump Daniel Dubois, it would be insane. Like the first fight, is fight of the year, no matter what. It is number one fight of the year. Nothing's going to beat it. It is one of the best heavyweight fights I have ever seen. And I think if you can run it back and get a different result, if you can run it back and see Fabio Wardley go in there and run through Daniel Dubois against all odds after the battering he just took, man, that is entertainment. That is an unbelievable boxing fight, and it sets up a mega trilogy. Like, it sets up an enormous fight between these two. And I have always been a fan of Fabio Wardley as well. All right, I was hoping he would win the first one. It didn't go his way, but I don't know anybody that dislikes Fabio Wardley. He brings the action. Look, he's up against it. I saw what sort of fight he put together against Daniel Dubois, and it was nowhere near up to snuff. His boxing skills definitely got sort of shown then, right? It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, and it will be very much up against it. He have to land an enormous right hand, because he landed two good right hands, dropped Daniel Dubois twice in that fight, and it wasn't enough. So it'd have to be a one-hit quitter from Fabio Wardley to stop him, because I don't think he outboxes Daniel Dubois in any way, shape, or form. But my number one pick, my number one wish is come November, come December, we see Fabio Wardley go in there and absolutely sleep Daniel Dubois. All right, some honorable mentions. All right, my number one honorable mention is Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu to run back the clock a few years and put together a fight of the year contender. I think these two guys in their prime, in their peak, going head to head is a very, very entertaining fight. I think Errol Spence wins it every day of the week, but I think we see a very, very entertaining fight because Errol Spence has all the skills in the world. Tim Tszyu has a heap of heart. He's a very skillful fighter, and he's got power as well. So I think if we saw these two guys run the clock back in Sydney, put together a mega fight, I think it would be very, very entertaining. It would be very good for boxing as well. Another one of my wishes for 2026, and this one here might piss off a few people, but I hope we see Keyshawn Davis light up Devin Haney. I think if we saw Keyshawn Davis absolutely run through Devin Haney, score a mega knockout, yeah, all those Devin Haney lovers are going to be after hiding under their fucking rocks, man. And I'm a big fan of Keyshawn Davis. I think it's very, very difficult. I think Keyshawn Davis in that fight should be the underdog and will be the underdog. But yeah, I think Devin Haney, he does a lot of talking. I think if Keyshawn Davis came out and absolutely slept him, it would be enormous. And my final honorable mention, and probably my most important honorable mention, is we see Jerome Boutsenis versus Vergil Ortiz by the end of the year. I feel like we should have already seen it. My other one would have been Jerome Boutsenis versus Sebastian Fundora, but it looks as though Sebastian Fundora is going to go and take on Hadribij, and that's going to be what he does for the rest of this year. We're not going to see him again. We're going to see Thurman, we're going to see Hadribij, and that'll be 2026 for Fundora. It sounds like Vergil Ortiz is reaching an agreement with Golden Boy and the team over there with Vergil Ortiz. So hopefully that happens and we see Jerome Boutsenis versus Vergil Ortiz in that fight that we should have already seen. It is a mega fight. I think after we saw that fight between Vergil Ortiz and Xander Zayas, the inside fighting from Jerome Boutsenis, it's got me more hyped about that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think we're going to see two guys that are just going to go hammer and tong on the inside for as long as it goes, for as long as it lasts. I see a lot of people talking smack about Jerome Boutsenis that are Vergil Ortiz fans, saying, oh, well, he gets hit. We saw him get rocked. Well, let's just see what happens when they actually do step in the ring, because I think Vergil Ortiz versus Jerome Boutsenis goes one way, and I think Jerome Boutsenis holds his head up high at the end of the night after he runs through and sparks out Vergil Ortiz. All right, guys, there is plenty of wishes that we could make for the rest of this year. I'd love to hear what you guys hope for at the end of this year. By New Year's Day, what have you hoped to have seen in 2026? Let me know in the comments below. I'm also about to make a video talking about the heavyweight division, so it should come out in the next 24 hours. If not, then I'm not happy with the video and you're never going to fucking see it. But like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here, guys. See ya.